Welcome to my channel, Custom Scrapbook Design by Christy Stubbs, and welcome to another installment of my Scrappin Saturday series, and welcome to Saturday Morning Makes. Hashtag satmornmakes is where you will find all of the collaborators who are participating in the open collaboration hosted by Jillian Norwood. And I will link her channel below, and be sure to check out that hashtag and check out all of the other artists and creators who are participating in this collaboration. So let's get started for today. I have got a 2-page layout that I'm gonna put together today. And for those of you that do follow me already, you know that I really kind of wing it most of the time and don't generally have too much of a plan for what I want to do. So I today have no plan, but I do have a pile of pictures and I am going to run with that again. I have been using pictures lately in my layouts, and I'm going to go ahead and do that again for this week's layout. So I have summer pictures from last summer here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pictures. So we're going to see how many of those we can fit on this 2-page spread. And again, this week I am using the collection by Simple Stories, and it is Boho Sunshine. I did my first layout last week utilizing this collection, so this is what I have left. I have added 2 sheets of the Simple Stories, and this is their textured cardstock, and I pulled the Buttercup. I thought that it matched the sun on this piece, and it coordinates real well with some of the other cut aparts. You know, it's a little bit lighter than the polka dot from what I used last week, but I think I'm going to use this as the base. So we're going to go ahead and put this all aside and see if we can come up with a plan for this week's layout. So I start out always by cutting off that branding strip when I remember, and it does make it much easier if you remember at the beginning of your layout to do it. I mean, it can be cut off later, it's just can be a little more challenging. All right, so we've got both branding strips cut off, and I think I want to use this. I don't know if it comes through very well. For some reason I do not have the best light in here today. I've got a lot of shadows going on. But there is polka dots on the one side, and then it's just solid on the other. So we're going to use the polka dot side today. And then let's pull this pile of paper back in here. I think we are going to, there's the sticker sheet, journaling bits. I think we're going to use this orange piece and maybe this floral and possibly, okay, there's cut aparts here. I'm going to set those aside. We're not going to use those. These journal, oh, that's a fun color. I'm going to save these though for the journaling pieces. And then we've got our stickers here, and then I've got some foam stickers left as well that we're going to try and use up some of those, and then a bunch of the tags that I had cut from last week. If you didn't watch last week's or haven't had a chance to yet, be sure to go back and check out last week's layout. It was a fun little layout as well. And then there's more tags left. We may use some of those. And then we've got these papers left. So last week I had used this and cut it at a diagonal. We might use the B side of this one, possibly instead of this one. And I think we'll start with these papers and see what we can come up with for a layout utilizing them. All right. Okay, so, oh, this one's got the cut aparts on this side. Okay, so I want to keep that in mind in case there's any of these cut aparts that I actually want to be able to utilize. I want to be careful what I cut off of the back side of that. So let's get started by trimming up this floral piece. It's got a fun kind of groovy, wavy rainbow of colors on the back side. I'm going to cut the branding strip first, and then I think I'm going to cut approximately an inch off of that so that the height of the paper is 11 inches. And then I am going to cut that in half. So I'm going to cut that at the 6-inch mark. Just like that. And then I'm going to take my 2-page spread and lay it side by side. And we're going to line these up on the inside edge of both those papers. And I'm just kind of setting them in place. We'll line them up properly when we hook them down and get them all matched up and stuff. But for now, it's just kind of giving you a little bit of the visual for that. And then we've got this little bit of orange here. And we're going to cut the branding strip off of that so we know exactly what we've got left to work with. Being as this one end is a little more narrow than the other, I think what we'll do now as well is straighten that out and see what we've got. We're about 5 3/4, it looks like. And I'm going to cut 2 inches off the height. And then 5 3/4. So 2.5 be half of 5. Be 5.5. If I do my math right, that should be half. And it doesn't matter if it's right or not because we're going to do some tucking, and I'm off slightly, and that's okay because we're going to tuck this behind the floral paper on both sides. So then we've got our floral and then this orange. All right, and then let's see. Take a look at some of these other papers that I had sitting here. And I kind of think that we're going to take some of this sunshine paper because I really like it. And just trying to decide if there's any that I want to make sure I keep. I think I'm going to cut this bottom set of 3x4s off. And then I'm going to cut that in half. So we're going to cut that at 6. And then I think we're going to bring the sunshine out from underneath on both sides like so. And we're going to ink the edges of these, so that'll help kind of define this white edge on the yellow just a little bit better, and same with the floral paper. So we're going to ink all of that, and then let's take a look at our pictures and see what I've got there. And I haven't done any trimming of these pictures yet. So we definitely can trim some of these pictures down, or maybe not even use all of them. This one I don't think we'll use. There's not much in there. My grandson's having a good time at the lake. And we are going to trim some of those down. And that'll help make those fit just a little bit better. There's a lot of water. Beautiful blue water. But we're going to trim those down to, let's start with 4. And we may even go down to the 3.5, I think. So we're going to do that with these 2 for sure, because there's a lot of extra in the picture that's not necessary. So we've got 2 of them trimmed down to 3.5. We may do the same with this one, and for this one, I'm going to trim a little at the top, and then I'm going to trim just a little at the bottom to get that 3.5. And I could have centered that a little bit better, but I'm just kind of winging that. We may even make that a square picture. That might center that up a little bit better. Get that picture 3.5 by 3.5. Okay, I like the looks of that a little bit better. Your pictures now on your layout don't have to measure the same always. So you can have all kinds of different sizes on your layout if you want to. So these, I don't think I'm going to take down to 3.5, but I do think I'm going to take them down to 4 at least. So I'm just going to take a little off the top and a little off the bottom on these as well, because I feel like there's a lot of the extra water in there. Okay. We'll take a little from both ends. Could be more precise and center those a little bit better, but I think that works. And a little off the top and a little off the bottom on this one as well. And get it to the 4 mark. All right. So I think I want to leave these 2 pictures whole. Actually, I'm going to trim some of this foreground out. And this one's going to go down to 4 as well. I like the blue sky in the background. We're going to leave that. And I really like the way that this picture has the trees, the tree branch kind of hanging over, and the green down below. So we're going to leave this picture full size. And now we just need to come up with the placement of our pictures. And these are the same size. Those are the same size, and that one's a little smaller. So I've got an odd number of pictures to work with. And that's okay. Let's see. I'm kind of liking that. And then we can pull in either some of the 3x4 cut-aparts. I'm pretty sure we can use some of these foam stickers on here. And when I use my foam stickers, I like to kind of preview them and just cut them apart and keep the background on here. So let's take a look at what we've got. We've got lots of fun ones that could be used on here. So we just need to determine which one we want to use, or two. We've got the word sunshine. And so fun. That could be used. Maybe a little bigger one there. I don't know if I like the pink, although the pink is in the floral there. We could also use the beach. And pull the words in the opposite corners there. We've also got hot, hot, hot with the sun. That we could pull down in that corner there if we wanted to. And then we also have these 3x4 cut-aparts, but I don't see any of those that I necessarily love, you know, for this particular layout. And we've got some more of the tags. And I'm not sure I necessarily want any of those. And we've got a few more tags. Hello Sunshine, but it's kind of the yellow on yellow, and I don't think I want to do that. Same with the sunglasses. Love you, floral, hello, bike. I don't feel like any of those necessarily lend themselves towards the lake pictures. And then we do have the cut-aparts. So we certainly could, you know, add a cut-apart and do some journaling. And if we do that, possibly this memories here would be a nice one, or even this fun. So we could use either of those. And then we could also add some of the stickers. So I think I'm fairly good with just adding some stickers and a little bit of journaling to this. We need to do the inking and the matting of the pictures and get that down, and then we can decide on the rest of the embellishing. So today I'm going to use the vintage photo for the inking. And if you've watched me ink before, I like to pull in a little mat from the Dollar Tree and just keep that on my work surface, because I tend not to move my stuff out from under where I'm working. Mainly because once I move it, I can't seem to find it. Everything gets misplaced on my desk rather quickly, no matter how clean my desk starts out when I start scrapbooking. So for me, it's just kind of easier to leave it in place. And this mat just catches all of the little shavings, the shedding that the foam dauber kind of gives off. So you can see how nicely adding that ink makes this pop off of that yellow background. So I'm going to go ahead and ink all of this stuff and find a color to mat all of the photos in. Okay, now that I've got all of the photos double matted, and the reason I double matted them is because I felt like the watercolor on this green background didn't quite look right, and I didn't really know what other color I wanted to pull in here. We've already got the orange, you know, where our base is the yellow. And then the blue I thought maybe would fight with the blue water pictures. So I mounted them on the white first and then mounted them on this teal color that's in the flowers in this floral paper. So I thought that that looks really good. That stands out well on the yellow, kind of stands out on all the colors. I for some reason kind of like my mattes to all match. I don't usually matte photos in different colors, so I just make them all match. So we're going to go ahead and put down our floral paper, and to do that I find it easier to turn it to the side and work here in front of me, and I could line it up on my grid if I really wanted to be precise, but I am going to just kind of eyeball the center, top to bottom, and then line up this edge. And I'm not going to press down hard on this outer edge because we're actually going to tuck this one below it. And again, I'll probably turn this to the side to be able to kind of look at it from side to side and get that centered on this paper. And then of course, if it's centered on this one's centered on the yellow, when I center this one on this little bit here, we should be pretty well centered on the yellow. Now, the only thing on this one is how far in I pull that paper on both sides, because I'm going to want that to be straight up and down and not tucked in like that. So I'm going to turn it again. And I could grab my ruler if I knew right where it was at the moment. So instead, I'm kind of like looking at the dots that are on here. I may have to go find my ruler too, just to get this lined up straight. Yep. I've got my little one that I broke here, so we can measure just shy of the 2.5 mark here, and we're just shy of it there. So I think we're good there. And now I think we'll pull the sunshine over top of this polka dot. I kind of like it coming along there. And we want to kind of eyeball center this way. And if you really want to, you can take your ruler and measure it. And we are darn close. And then I just check the reveal here and see if we're the same. Or measure your paper and see if you're the same. And I am probably 1/32 off here. Let's try that. That looks good. So now we're going to press that down. Looks like I missed some adhesive. Kind of in a crucial spot right there. There we go. So we've got one side down. So to do the other side, now I would take this first side and lay it maybe like that, and then grab your first piece, and we're going to just repeat all these steps But the only thing that I'm going to do differently is line these up. And then I'm going to line my paper up here. I want to make sure that those line up across from each other. And then you could go and kind of just eyeball your next piece again. And I might have pressed this down too tight. And what did that measure? We're at 2.5. So we want to make sure this side is at 2.5 as well. I'm not sure you would notice if it was ever so slightly off. Oh, and there's one edge that I did not ink. So I want to make sure that edge gets underneath. Okay, let's take a look at that again. I know it's crooked. Kind of doing the top to bottom. And then we want it to be at 2.5, which were, whoops, ever so slightly long. 2.5 at the bottom. And I'm going to hold the bottom down because I've got it right, but the top is tucked in just a little bit. There we go, 2.5, 2.5. Before I press that down, I'm just going to kind of look to see if we've got equal distance there. Looks like we do. And then we're just going to do the same thing again with the sunshine. And I did measure that at 3. Okay. So we're just going to tuck that in there. I didn't leave a lot of room. Lift that back up. So that we get about the same amount of clearance on the ends there. See, I've just got that sliver there. So I need to pull this one out a little bit and try and kind of line that up the same and get it straight. And then before I hook any of that down, I want to get it the 3 inches, and we're up a little high, so we want to pull that down to be right at that 3 mark again. Let's make sure our end is straight, looks straight, and we can press that down. Uh-oh. Only look what I did. I did them the same way. So you want to watch your directional paper. So we'll pop this one back up real quick. And of course I only have one directional paper and I had to put it down upside down. So you want to pay attention to that. Learn from my mistakes. That's easy enough though. And again, for those of you that do follow me, you know me well enough by now to know that I never get anything stuck down right on the first try. So why would I have thought that that would be that easy? We'll just do this whole little process one more time. Get it on there correct so that we've got the 2-page spread. Go in the opposite directions. May need to add a little more adhesive now since I did pull that up, and just enough to kind of hold down this edge a little bit better. There we go. Okay, now we got it. All right, so let's pull our pictures back in and figure out the placement of our photos. And we're gonna have 4 photos on one side and 3 on the other side, and that's all right. And I am kind of balancing out the water pictures as far as I've got one on the land here and another one here. So I'm gonna put those on opposite pages. And then I'm also putting, let's see what we've got size-wise here. I think I want to put the two larger ones over here. Maybe. And then maybe potentially the smaller one. Oh, I liked that smaller one. Kind of on the sunshine, maybe. I think we'll split them up. I thought I would want them on the same page, but I think we're going to split them up. And I've got my grandson in these, so I'm also going to keep those opposite. And then his Uncle Dallas is with him here. And so we're going to put those two together, and then he's kind of swimming by himself here. So I think that that's a good way to lay out those photos. Kind of talk you through my process of what I'm thinking when laying those down. And then I kind of like the So Fun there, and maybe the hot. And I could do these any way I want to. I don't have to necessarily do them one above each other. We could use a couple of them there. Could put the sun. Tucked right up there. And maybe we'll set those like that. Hot, hot, hot. And I've got this swimsuit here as well that we could pull in. Let's see if you can even see it. I think you can see it on the orange pretty good, but on the yellow it kind of blends. So if we want to stick that on the orange, we could. And then we've also got this little pair of sunglasses here, and we might want to use those. Maybe even in between the two photos, like so. And let's take a look at this again and see if we're going to want to add a little journaling spot. And if so, we may want to pull our photo up a little bit. So let's go ahead, and I think out of all of them, I kind of am thinking maybe this little, kind of the bright little rays of sunshine around it. That one might stand out on the yellow really well. I like that one as well. So let's see what it looks like on there before we get much further, because we might want to adjust the layout of our photos ever so slightly before to accommodate this. So we may actually want to pull all of that up and pull that in here in that corner. And I think that that works good. I'm going to trim this just slightly smaller though on the bottom. It's got that extra little bit of rays there, and I'm going to cut a little bit more of that off. So your cut aparts, you don't have to keep them the exact same size that they are. You can trim them down just a little bit, and I am trimming it down so that it fits within the space that I've got on the layout. And I think it stands out a little bit better when it's like that. So we're going to put that there. I'm going to ink that. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and put these photos down since I've pretty well got them placed where I want them. And I'm just centering these side to side and then I'm also going to try and kind of have the same distance top bottom, and then whatever the distance in between is what it will be. So to do that, I kind of have to turn my work surface again and try and get that same distance as at the top or at the bottom. And it's right at 1 inch. So right about there. Okay, those two are good. Now we'll get these other two set in place. And I'm going to pull them off of that floral. And again, I'm going to turn it to the side just because I can judge a little bit better. Kind of the spacing. I've got a little less up here, but I think that's going to be okay. I think we'll pull the sunshine in right over here. We may end up with a sticker or something there, and then our hot, hot, hot will still work. But I've got the photos in place. I think that looks good. And then we'll go ahead and put our photos down on the other side. And again, I'm probably going to do a lot of the same thing as far as placing the photos the same distance, side to side and top to bottom. Now I've got a lot taller picture over on this side, so I'm going to have a lot less space at the bottom, between the bottom of the picture and the floral paper. And then I'll replicate that at the top and have just that narrow little bit. Try and line the photos up as best I can. All right, and I wanted a little more room in between these because I am going to go ahead and put those sunglasses down in between. Now, I do use a little bit of glue on the foam stickers because I like to make sure that they're going to stay. They probably will without it, but I just like to add just a little extra security to that. And then let's see how this fits again. So this just going to fit in this little open corner on the yellow, and then I think we can fit that something along those lines. So we'll go ahead and put that photo down, and we'll work upside down and put these stickers on. I'm going to put the word fun on first, and I'm just going to add a couple little dots of glue to that, and I'm going to carry that right above the photo and to the outside edge. And before I press down, I'm going to lift that up and see if it looks straight. Looks fairly straight. And I'm going to set this one down as well before I press them both down. And rather than line them up straight like they were, I'm actually going to bring the word so up more towards the top of the page. Let's see if those are straight before I press them down. Now the problem with using glue with these is if you don't get them exactly where you want them to begin with, you might have a little bit of a glue mess. Now I was lucky enough that I could lift it up and move it ever so slightly without it causing any issues. We're going to press that down. So fun. And we're going to stick that swimsuit right up there with that as well. A little bit of glue. We're going to kind of angle her a little bit. And before I forget, we're going to go ahead and ink the edges of this journaling box here, and I'm going to ink them fairly heavily because I really want it to kind of stand out up against that yellow background. So we've got that inked up nicely. That looks great. Stands up out real nice. We're going to go ahead and add that to the corner. And I am kind of trying to do equal distance on the yellow edges here. I'm not as concerned about the top or the bottom and the right side. And of course I'm crooked. Let's try and get it straight. That'd be even better. There, I think we've got it. Okay, and then I'll do a little journaling there. So let's go to the other side and hook down our sun. I want it to go on the orange because I feel like it kind of gets lost in the yellow background, of course, with it being yellow. So we're just going to stick it right there. And then we'll do our little hot, hot, hot. And if I remember correctly, that day at the lake, it was hot, hot, hot. We spent the afternoon there just kind of chilling and cooling off. My grandson really wanted to go to the lake. So that is what we did on that particular day that we went to visit them. And there we go. Got that lined up. Now let's take a look at our sticker sheet. And maybe we'll add some stickers. I'm not sure about the ephemera. We can take a look at that as well. But a lot of this is floral, which would be fine because we do have the floral background here. So we could add some floral as well. And at first I didn't think that that was going to be something I wanted to do, but we might add some floral. There's floral, rainbows, and butterflies. Some cute little mushrooms, but let's take a look at the sticker sheet before we get carried away with any of that, because I really do like these banners, and there's a couple on this particular sheet. You've got like the little triangular banners here, you've got the floral banner here. This one says smile big. I'm gonna pull those dies off of there. I forgot, I was really thinking about using a banner when I first looked at this, and now I have placed stuff pretty much everywhere where one of the banners could go. Except maybe, we'll see if we miss that sun, and I glued the sun down so it has to stay where it's at now. But maybe we could swing this banner. Maybe we could swing that banner right there. Even though we've got the sun there. It's all right. Okay, what else do we have here? Got the little plant in the macrame holders, another succulent here. rainbows, some flip-flops. Maybe we'll put the flip-flops on one of these. They'd be cute, except they're orange and they're not going to stand out on the orange very well. They really probably need to stand out on the yellow. Yeah, right above the hot, hot, hot. That works good. And got another pair of sunglasses here, but they're yellow, so they're not going to stand out on that yellow background, but they would. We've got a couple pair of sunglasses. Let's see, I'm not going to push those down. Might pull them both in here. We will pull them both in here. Got a little smiley face we'll add. Can't tell if I've got him crooked or straight. I don't like that. Good thing I didn't use glue on my stickers because I'm not liking my placement. I'm going to redo those. I like that a little bit better. The camera in between. All right. All right, let's take a peek at some of these words. Be the sunshine. Love that. I love these little words that Simple Stories does on their sticker sheets. I think they're fun to kind of layer on your layouts. I'm not going to push that down quite yet. I just think they're a lot of fun to use. So we're going to layer up 3 of them over here. Try and get those straight. And then this one's going to be popping up already, so I'm going to stick a little glue under that. Hold that down. I'm also going to stick just a tad bit of glue right under here to hold that down. All right, and then we're going to do a few of the word stickers right over here too. And let's see. We're going to do Shine Bright. Oh, maybe we'll do the Shine Bright right down here. Okay. Hello, sunshine. Whoops. Hello, sunshine's going to go there. We're going to use the word chill right down here. He's pretty chill here. happy vibes. And one more. Let's see. Don't worry, be happy. We're going to use that one right here. And lift that up. See how crooked I am. Try and straighten those out. Let's take a little peek at this. See what we're thinking about this. Kind of feeling like we might add a couple flowers. We are going to add that flower. And I think I'm going to just pop that up on some foam. Got a little white showing right here. We're going to try and get rid of that. We'll add one flower there. And I think we'll pull this orange one in over here. And we'll pop it up just on a little bit of foam too. That one's just going to go like that. Because we've got the floral in the paper background back there, so I feel like we can pull that flower in pretty easily. And I do believe we're going to pull a couple more. I've got some of these foam dots here. I'm going to use those on these flowers. All right, that, my friends, is another great, fun and bright 2-page layout using the Simple Stories Retro Summer, available on my website, as well as the stickers and the ephemera pieces are all available. So be sure to check those out if you haven't seen this collection yet. It's definitely a lot of fun. I've enjoyed spending my Saturday morning with you. Be sure to check out all the other collaborators in the open collaboration hosted by Jillian Norwood, and just search the hashtag satmornmakes. It'll bring up all of the other videos, and take a little time to enjoy the creations. And thank you so much for sticking with me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so. That way you'll be notified every time I upload new content to my channel. And follow along with my Scrappin' Saturday series. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.